I'd like to take the conversation back to the Texas State House. It has been such an incredible 4 years. We watched them attempt to impeach Ken Paxton. They had everything in place to get the job done. The corporate media, it was like a military surprise attack, right? They had all their guns and weapons loaded and in place, ready to go, because the minute they flipped that switch and went after him, the media was in place like battleships firing, right? And they were just rat-a-tat-tat and fire everywhere, putting out the propaganda, Ken Paxton bad, Ken Paxton bad. And what happened in the state of Texas is parents and citizens stood up, grassroots in a grassroots way, and rallied a counteroffensive. And they had us outspent, outgunned everything. And we somehow pulled that thing off. I mean, what is your opinion of what we saw during that time? I think that's a part of Texas history that's going to go down as a significant part.
It was one of the most evil things I have ever seen. If you really want to understand what happened, it's either on Netflix or it's on Prime, and it's called Atticus versus the Architect. Atticus versus the Architect. And it's the story of Eric Holder, Democrat, and Karl Rove, Republican, taking out a pro-life Democrat governor in Alabama. And it is the game plan for how they tried to take Ken out. They did all the investigative work in secret. No one was sworn in. So in other words, you could perjure yourself, but because you were never sworn in, you could never be held liable for it. The other side, Ken's side, was never questioned. They never were allowed to speak in front of the General Investigative Committee. So the General Investigative Committee only took testimony from the prosecuting side, from the offending side. And it was the most egregious thing. They accused him of taking $100,000 payoffs. It's the same thing that they accused the governor of Alabama. He was accused of cooperating and doing all these terrible things. None of it was ever proven true. They were successful in taking out the governor in Alabama. He was later found innocent, but by God's grace, Ken got to tell his side of the story in the Senate, and they put on a full trial. All the accusations that they had against Ken were just ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. And it should have been an incredible embarrassment for them. Dan Patrick, who presided over the impeachment hearings in the Senate, did a fabulous job. He should be really proud of himself for what he did. He worked really hard, and I know the Senate took it very seriously, and they arrived at a not guilty verdict.
Yeah, it was an incredible time. I mean, and just to mention Ken Paxton, I mean, the man showed up as just, I believe, a state rep immediately from day one at the height of the Bush popularity in the state of Texas. I would say Bush controlled the state. Karl Rove controlled it, and he was a thorn in their side from day one. And
Yeah.
now today he is a serious challenger for John Cornyn's seat. I mean, that's just a David versus Goliath story. It's incredible, and I agree with you. Dan Patrick's closing statement, where he essentially kept his opinions to himself until he was done with that trial, and then he let the establishment know what they put the state of Texas through was completely wrong. It was incredible. One last question for you, Steve.